Maimonides, better known as the Rambam, a 12th century Jewish philosopher and codifier of most of all Jewish law, writes in regards to the laws of Chanukah about the lighting of the menorah. He says, what if somebody is very broke and they only have enough money for one of the following things? Say it's Shabbos and Chanukah at the same time. So now you need to purchase candles, obviously, for your Chanukah menorah. You need to buy a cup of wine for the Kiddush prayer on Shabbos, or simply on Shabbos, candles for light in your home. Assuming you can only afford one of the previous three things, which of them should you purchase? Now, the presumptive answer might be to say the Chanukah candles, as obviously it's the holiday and you need to light those as it's a very important obligation. However, instead of all things, he says that the most important thing to purchase would be candles to simply light up your house, as it generates peace within your household, and peace is of such importance that the entire Torah was only given to bring peace about in the world. So, a bit of a question on this, as asked by the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Why is the Rambam saying this here, of all places, in the laws of Chanukah? This whole thing honestly has more what to do with the laws of Shabbos than anything else. So why does he decide to pose this entire theoretical scenario in the laws of Chanukah? And also, what does Chanukah have to do with peace and its importance? I mean, Chanukah is celebrating a literal war, so what's the whole idea? So there's a lengthy answer, which will begin by explaining the actual process of the lighting of the menorah, specifically the differences between the way it was done back in the temple and the way it's done now. There are several differences. Obviously, for one, the temple menorah had 7 branches, but ours has 9, with 8 candles to light one more on each night of the holiday. However, the 2 differences we're going to focus on for now is as follows. Firstly, the menorah in the temple was lit all the way within the inner chamber of the temple, while our menorahs are specifically lit at the entrance of our house in order to publicize the miracle. The second difference is the fact that the temple menorah was lit during the day, while ours is lit after sunset by nighttime. The reason for this difference is pretty simple. In the times of the temple, it was a time of openly revealed holiness. I mean, the temple was still around. There was literally a miracle on this holiday and whatnot. Hence, it was lit as it was lit, and therefore ruined when the Greeks took over the temple. Our menorahs, on the other hand, are lit during a time of exile, and intended to illuminate the world around us. Hence, they're lit at night and in public. So, in a sense, to a certain degree, our menorahs that we light nowadays are even better than the menorah by the temple, because that was negated by the Greek invasion, as opposed to the principle behind our modern menorahs, which cannot be nullified as they exist solely defiant of the dark and in spite of it. This is also reflected by the amount of candles used. In Judaism, the number 7 is often used to represent perfection according to nature, while the number 8 is often used to represent the concept of being higher than and therefore unaffected by nature. Hence, the temple menorah had 7 candles, while ours has 8. This is also representative of the idea of a Balet Tsha, an idea which refers to somebody who becomes religious later on in his life, who, through his decision, actually can be considered better in a sense than somebody who has been religious all of his life due to the nature of this decision. But in truth, they both have an advantage over the other, and it's said that Mashiach's coming will be with the combination of these 2 efforts. This is, in fact, similar to the 2 variations of the historical Chanukah menorahs, one of which was in the temple and had its purpose, and the ones nowadays which have theirs, both being very fundamentally important and suited towards their opposing intents. And this is why the philosopher Maimonides wrote about peace in regards to the laws of Chanukah. Peace is kind of the unity between 2 opposing things, peace in the home between husband and wife, who are on the surface somewhat different in nature, but together make a greater whole. So too with the two different types of Hanukkah lights, with the concept of Teshuvah and returning to God in general, and its fusion with the purpose of others, the fully religious, the unity of these two wholes making something greater than the two separate. And therefore, peace and unity is the first priority above and beyond all else. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole thing. This is a summary of a teaching of the Lubavitcher Rebbe given on Shabbos Parshas Vayeshev in the Hebrew year 5722. So definitely check out similar if you enjoyed this or found it informative. So yeah, that's about that. With that said, thank you so much for watching and have a very happy Chanukah.